Welcome to episode 21 of the Silver Savage podcast. This episode is brought to you by Masada Tactical, the premier Israeli-based tactics training facility in the US. Check out training.masadatactical.com for information about our training classes, from self-defense to firearms and trauma medicine, and if you choose to sign up, use the code SilverSavage10 to get 10% off. This episode is also brought to you by Combat Iron Apparel. If you're a patriot and want apparel that fits your attitude and is comfortable as hell to wear, either for a night out or to the gym, you have to check them out. Go visit combatironapparel.com and use the code SilverSavage10 to get 10% off your next purchase. This week we have with us Jordan and Maddy. Dr. Jordan Shettle is the founder and CEO of Resilient Physiotherapy and Sports Performance, and Dr. Madeline Keys is the co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of Resilient Physiotherapy and Sports Performance. They sent me their bio. Honestly, it's super long. You can read a complete list of their educational background and certification in the episode's notes. It is super impressive, so I highly recommend that you go and check it out. But there are just too many for me to mention. The two are super accomplished in their fields, including recipients of several prestigious awards and specialize amongst many other in everything from concussion management to spinal manipulation, sports conditioning, dry needling, and many more. So certainly go check out their bios and see what it is that they do. What is especially unique about the two of them, and the reason we really wanted to have them on our show, is their unique approach to therapy, the treatment of the person as a whole, and their specific work with athletes and tactical operators and first responders. They address the unique needs of each of them to get them to perform their duties at the highest level. Here's our chat with Jordan and Maddy.
Well, I don't see a glass in your hand, but cheers anyway.
Oh, we.
Cheers. Ah, there it is.
There you go.
Wait, what are you drinking there, Jordan?
Oh, I broke out a special bottle for you guys. We have a Clyde Mays 5-year.
Nice.
Never heard of it. What is it?
It's a bourbon, straight bourbon whiskey, 110 proof. So
Fancy.
we'll be doing good tonight.
We got up our game.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I'm drinking. He handed it to me. He likes to take advantage of me a lot, so I'm drinking whatever he gives me.
The Japanese whiskey.
Oh, Japanese whiskey.
Oh, very nice.
So, good stuff. Maddy, Jordan, BK, Madden, and Jordy. Jordy. Maddy and Jordan.
I like it.
Wow.
Maddy and Jordy from now on.
Nice to meet you.
The best paradox I've ever encountered. Pair of docs, not paradox. You see what I did there. And I know you guys are meeting for the first time, but he's heard me talk you guys up all the time. And I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. I'm excited to have you guys on this podcast on a personal level because you guys have been treating me. And although you haven't encountered him, he's been getting his ass poked right above you for the last couple months with Dr. Nager.
I like it.
So
You can find the videos on YouTube of me getting pellets put in my behind.
Yeah. So on days that you have felt an odd force among your office, it was probably him pulling his pants down upstairs.
I'll just be like, BK's upstairs.
Yes. So because we've determined that his crotch area has its own gravitational force.
There are pictures to prove it.
And we have proven this. All right. But that being said, for those that are listening, we got Dr. Maddy, we got Dr. Jordan, they're physical therapists, and I'll let them introduce themselves. And again,
hold on. Are you guys actual doctors?
We are.
Yeah, really?
They're legit.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying they're doctors,
no.
they're not really doctors.
This is why I drive out of my way to see them. And again, I'll talk about this when we get started, but I'd like you guys to introduce yourselves kind of real quick, tell a little bit about yourselves, what you do for the audience listening. And then I'll talk about how awesome you guys are next to sliced bread. Dr. Maddy, Dr. Jordan, hit it.
So yes, I'm Maddy, and I'm one of the PTs at Resilient Physiotherapy and Sports Performance. I've been a PT now for about, it's been a while, 7 years. So, and so I started in kind of like at the corporate outpatient ortho setting, and then moved into private practice in right outside of Baltimore. And then shortly after that, Jordan and I opened up our own spot. And it's been—
Are you originally from Baltimore?
So I'm actually from like closer to DC area. So kind of like Rockville area. Moco. What up?
All right. Awesome. All right. Jordy, I got to call you Jordy now.
I like it.
I'll take it. Real quick, just for the audience, this is the Ice Queen, and I have aptly named him Dr. Ramrod. And we'll talk about that later.
All right.
So Jordan, one of the owners here with Maddy at Brazilian Physiotherapy, and one of the PTs in there. So I went to PT school at Widener University, and when I graduated from there, started again like Maddy, working in sort of a corporate PT world, and quickly just got burnt out by the hassle and hustle of that, treating 30, 40, sometimes 50 patients a day, and stepped into more of a private practice world at that point in time. Spent a few years there, really just kind of learning and honing and becoming a better PT. And then had the opportunity to open up my own practice, and so took advantage of that, and it's been going great. So yeah.
So do you guys own the practice together?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And it's both yours first private practice?
Yes.
All right. Awesome.
And Maddy's really in charge.
Absolutely.
So no downward, so it's all good.
So you guys have introduced yourself, and I'm kind of giddy, and I hate it because you guys, I've gotten to know you guys, and it's I've come to love you guys as professionally and as people. We met at a fundraising event. You had me when I saw you walking up in Silkies, and we kind of went from there. Actually, no, yeah, you met. I think you were there when we met. Oh yeah, you're wearing your Silkies. I'm not wearing Silkies. Yeah, he's wearing his wedding Silkies.
Are we
right
doing
now.
this in Silkies?
My Masada Silky.
Yes. Oh my God, that's awesome. I'm not wearing Silkies right now.
It gets the
but I was
people
legit on my
And I'll be honest,
request.
for those that are not watching the YouTube, you're lost.
Absolutely.
So you guys have gotten to know me, and I've gotten to know you as well. And I hope to grow in friendship outside of the professional environment as well.
What he's saying is he wants a discount on the services.
I'm not paying for them anyways. It doesn't matter. But it comes near and dear to me. We as warriors, and we're going to talk about this topic, because your environment is very organic, and you touched on how you were tired of the corporate environment. And I really want people to listen and hear, and I really hope they hear this podcast, because especially people like us, you treat all types of warriors, whether they're firefighters, police officers, military. You're right next to Exile Gym. You're right next to ground control. You got fighters. You got everyone coming through your practice. And we kind of touched on this, Manny, and I really want you to express your empirical and personal opinion on this, but how it affects us mentally. You know, you guys know my story. I've been battling knee and back injury for years. And when I approached you, I was like, hey, can you help me? Because I got another surgery coming up. And I personally, and you've seen my struggles, BK, you've had your injuries, you've been shot and all that stuff in Israel. You can tell those stories. Really cool stories, Jordan. We'll have to drink for those. But I've made so much progress with you guys. And one of the things I told BK, it wasn't just the physical progress with the awesome work you guys are doing, but it was also the mental progress. And I didn't realize it until I really started coming to your guys' shop, and we started talking to Maddy. We touched on it today when you were treating me, because Jordan dumped me today. But that's cool. I'm not hurt.
You are cheating on me.
No, listen. All right. There's enough of me to go around for both of you.
No.
But and I really want you to touch on that, because I think especially in the first responder military community, especially when it comes to work-related injuries, we kind of think that we have to do what they tell us to do. You get stuck in that corporate environment like I did, and it actually did me more harm than good. So I kind of want to touch off on your experiences of what you've seen, everything from pre-surgery prep, post-surgery prep, the mental preparedness, you name it. I know that's a huge topic, but touch on some of those little things. Because I know, like BK and I, you guys know it, like me, I come in there, I'm hurting, but the first words out of my mouth are like, it's not going to stop me. and Jordan gets mad at me sometimes, like, dude, you got to chill, you got to heal, but I'm like, no, I'm just going to go out there and, do what I do, because that's what you guys are for, to make me better again.
Finding that balance.
Yeah. And I think, for me, the reason why I got out of corporate like PT is because I think the one-on-one time with a patient for an extended period is so valuable. Having that 45 minutes to treat a patient one-on-one and really kind of hear what they have to say, really to be an active listener, allows us to treat the whole person. Because I feel like a lot of times, patients are usually sent from, specialty to specialty, this doctor, that doctor, but no one really takes the time to actually sit down and listen and to really kind of put all the pieces together. So, that's something that I think both Jordan and I are really proud of and take a lot of pride in, is treating, the patient as a whole, listening to not only like their physical complaints, but, where they are mentally, what their goals are, what they want to get back to, because then we can really tailor the program and tailor our treatment to help them reach those goals. Because ultimately that's why they're coming to us, is to get back out on the field, or get back out, with their job, or go back to doing whatever, they want to do. And that requires a lot of like active listening, a lot of teamwork. We really do take like a team approach with our patients and really sit down and kind of outline a thorough, individualized plan that helps them get to where they need to be. And a lot of times it's not just, like I said, the physical, we kind of touch on, some mental, kind of emotional, kind of headspace topics as well that we have to kind of problem solve.
Oh, no, I've cried on Jordan's shoulder before.
You 100% fucked.
Yeah.
So let me stop everybody for a second, because Steve is getting super excited and he's very excited all day and giddy, which is awesome. And he asked a big question, right, which is very encompassing, and there's a lot in it.
Yep.
I wanna break it down a little bit, if that's possible. So can we start with this specific clientele of warriors, right? Talking about law enforcement, first responders, military, fighters. What are some of the more typical type of injuries you're seeing, and how can they prevent it to begin with? Because that's key, right?
That's a good question.
Thank you. I'm not just a pretty face.
That's a pretty.
Yeah, I do think that's a good question.
I'm looking at Jordan. Maddy, you're beautiful, but I'm pointing at Jordan right now.
So I think a lot of what we see, the whole spectrum of the tactical athlete, from first responders, military, police, firefighters. It's a broad spectrum. There's a lot of different demands in the individual. We treat a ton of police officers. So whether it be city, county, Harford County, Anne Arundel, we see a lot of the state team guys, things like that. So the biggest thing that I think we probably see are mostly like neck and low back injuries. It comes a lot, I think, just you guys wearing your vest, carrying, oxygen tanks, loads on your back, the compressive forces on your spine, while really performing high-end activity, chasing, running, jumping, tackling, whatever you may be doing in that moment. And between, gun belts and vests, I think we see a lot of stress and strain put on shoulders, low back, things like that. To address
I'm sorry, Jordan, assuming that load is not going to change, right? So for me, for military, currently I do a bunch of roles, law enforcement and EMS being two big ones in there. What can I do to try, to whatever extent I can, prevent some of that?
Yeah, I think definitely my two biggest pieces of advice would be, number one, just addressing mobility. I think a lot of people, they get into the gym, they want to get big, they want to get strong, they want to put on size, they want to stack plates on a bar. Especially at Exile. Exile is a very unique gym, probably one of the strongest gyms in the entire country. We have numerous world records held in-house. And people bench pressing over 700, people squatting almost 1,000. 959. Phil Herndon just set the record for. So
shout out Phil.
Yeah, I think that
we'll have that brick on here too eventually.
I think the biggest thing there is really going to be to address mobility restrictions so that you're able to move well before moving often. A lot of people get very muscle bound, very stiff, very tight, packing that size on. You get stuck in some compromised positions, and that can lead to injury. Beyond that, I would also say just being more posturally aware, watch how you're sitting. Are you slouching down and rounded, or yeah, that's right, correct it. There we go. So, just kind of getting up nice and tall, neck nice and long, shoulders drop down, and keeping the core engaged, things along those lines can go a very long way. If you're sitting in a squad car for 6-7 hours, that's a really, really long day. So
Jordan, I know what's the word I'm looking for? They're almost doctors, but not really doctors.
Physician's assistants?
No.
Almost
chiropractors.
Oh,
sorry. I just pissed off a bunch of people, including my cousin, which I have the utmost respect to chiropractors. I'm just teasing.
I see one as well.
Right. I blacked out on the name. But chiropractors are big on preventative treatment, right? You go to a chiropractor not necessarily when you're injured, but to prevent that injury. Sure. Is there a correlation or something similar in physical therapy? Can I go and see you guys before an injury happens?
Oh, no, go ahead. I'll let you address that because I can empirically speak on that. But go ahead. And today was one of those days.
100%. I mean, that's a big part of what we do. So more like a prehab aspect of things where people are coming in, hey, my knee's been bugging me a little bit. It's not an official injury yet. There's something going on in there, potentially some inflamed tissue or something, but you're not to the point where, oh my gosh, my knee's killing me. I can't walk. I have to go see a doctor about this. So a lot of the times people will come in, they'll say, hey, I've been having some mobility restrictions. I feel like my knee doesn't want to bend as well. My glute doesn't feel like it's engaging great on my squats. I feel like when I'm running on the field, I'm just not able to get up to top speed. Can we look at some things? Maddy and I Maddy's a running form assessment coach. So, breaking down somebody's gait, helping just to, what's the word I'm going for here? Optimize their running pattern to reduce injury, to increase speed, to run faster, to run longer. So,
and I think that's where our skill set really comes into play, is being able to kind of break down a complex movement, because again, like Jordan said, people who are coming in to see us, they're already super strong. They're already, pretty athletic. They move well. So having the ability to really kind of break down movement and kind of see where things maybe are falling apart. And a lot of times it's very subtle, but getting on top of that, I think early is key in preventing injury. We use tools like the FMS, the functional movement screen, which is a test that allows us to take a patient through a series of different movements, and we score them and kind of see how they're moving through that. And then we're able to kind of really pick out those deficits or asymmetry so that we can get ahead of a potential injury and prevent it from happening.
Cool. And it's one thing, you guys mentioned it before. And again, I can speak empirically I've probably had over 15 duty related injuries between my shoulder, breaking bones, severing nerves, etc. And the majority of that was spent in corporate physical therapy, where I'd walk in, there was one PT there, he'd stick my workouts on the wall, say, do this, and he's looking over 8 other people and forgets I exist. As opposed to what I've experienced with you all, and have experienced some actual progression despite the severity of my injuries, which have gotten worse. And you kind of, based on what we were talking about today, my back got very agitated this past weekend, and my wife kept implying, go to the chiropractor. I said, no, I have physical therapy. I'm going to ask them if they can treat my back, which Maddy, you did today. And I can tell you right now, although I was still aching today when I walked in, super more mobile than I was before, which it's like in my head, I'm like, why can't I do physical therapy as a palliative, thing, and I think a lot of people have this misconception of physical therapy as something you just do after you've had a surgery or after you've had an injury, where, like you said, Jordan, it can be preemptive as well. And you guys have been working with me on that as well. And I've I talked to you today, Maddy, about how you guys say I'm the good patient, but I'm really not. But I'm trying to lose weight.
We tell everybody that.
No,
yeah, that's what I told Maddy. You lied to me.
No, we don't tell everyone that.
I said that. I said you tell everybody.
No,
that.
I told you, like, you're like one of our faves. We love
Whatever. Yeah, I've heard that before.
I thought I'm your favorite.
No, yeah, but not. That's different.
Okay,
right?
just making sure.
That's different. I mean, I think when Jordan's treating me, we scare more of your patients away than we do encourage them to come in.
I hope so.
Well, I was telling him this.
One of the big things to kind of say about what the topic you're talking about is, I think it's really important for patients to advocate for themselves, and that's something that I don't think there's enough of in the healthcare field across the board. And a really important thing to know, Maryland is what's called a direct access state. So in the state of Maryland, you can go to any physical therapist that you want. You can choose your provider. Just because your doctor, your surgeon says, hey, I need you to go to big corporate office down the street, or go see my PTs here in-house, things like that. I'm not knocking any of that, but you have the right to choose your healthcare provider. And you can go somewhere where, like you said, you're one of 8 or 9 patients at a time. There's one person, they tell you to go stretch in the corner for half an hour, put you on heat and stim for 20 minutes at the end of your session. Those PTs they're a dime a dozen. You can find it everywhere. Both Maddy and I started off our careers working at those places. And I think we both just realized that there's something better out there. There has to be a better way to treat patients. And, I really like our one-on-one business model. You're with myself or with Maddy for 45 straight minutes. There aren't any PTAs, there aren't assistants, there aren't techs. We're the ones taking you through everything, the hands-on mobilizations, manipulations, dry needling, cupping, taping. I mean, everything that we do from a hands-on perspective, then getting you out into the gym, progressing movement patterns, building strength, it's all done with our eyes directly on you. You're not turned loose on your own. And I think that's a really important thing for people to know, is that, different types of care exist, and you need to be an advocate for your own health.
And that's great, because I did not know that. And I'm curious how many other citizens of Maryland to know that. And not only that, as a patient, would I know not only that I have the access, but even how to advocate for myself, like what is wrong with me, and to seek for that. I think a lot of people go through injuries not realizing what's going on, and it's not until the primary care physician tells them something that the whole kind of chain reaction happens, right? And that's how they end up in those corporate places. So let me pivot to a slightly different question. I know Steve has been through a few surgeries. I had the pleasure of driving him to a few, and being at his bedside when he wakes up. Actually got kicked out of the last place because I tried asking him questions under anesthesia, and I got too loud and too crude and got kicked out. But that aside, I also had a tumor removed, actually, from my spinal cord C2 to C5, left some deficits. And I remember at the time, and this is something that Steve and I discussed a few minutes ago, is, the mindset of a warrior, right? So I was supposed to be at the hospital for 2 weeks, go to Kernan for rehab for 4 weeks, and then continue with physical therapy. And throughout all that time, I was told you cannot do anything. And I'm like, F that's not going to happen. Surgery was on Monday. I asked what I need to do to go home. They told me I need to walk through around the floor and up and down a flight of stairs. So I did that by Friday. Saturday, I was at my gym that I own, walking on the treadmill with a cane at 0.5 miles per hour by rehabbing myself, right? Yeah. Because I cannot quit. I cannot stop. You can't tell me you're just going to sit on the couch and do nothing. And I know Steve is the same way. So how do you address that with your specific clientele? How do you make them do what you want them to do?
Yeah, I love, that's an awesome question, because it's one of my favorite things that we do. Because so often I will have athletes come in, let's say CrossFit athletes, for example. CrossFit in some areas of the fitness world really has sort of a bad reputation. People have this idea of, oh, you do CrossFit, you're just getting injured. It's whatever. you can't have a CrossFit athlete or a runner, for example, stop running and stop doing CrossFit. It's not going to happen. And I can't tell you, it's innumerable, the number of patients that we've had come in. They went somewhere else for PT first. The first thing they were told, day one, stop lifting, stop running, stop doing the activity that is causing you to have this pain. It's bad for you, clearly. Just you need to stop whatever you're doing. And I think the really great thing about what we do is we encourage all of that. Now, it's not about stopping a specific movement, but modifying that movement. It's normally not that an entire movement pattern or functional pattern is off. It's just you've added a little bit too much load, or you have an injury that's preventing you from squatting 300 pounds right now. But can you box squat with body weight right now, pain free? Let's start there, and let's use that as a stepping stone to rebuild you to where you were, versus telling people that, hey, you just need to stop whatever your passion is, whatever your sport is, because of this injury.
Right. I love that, because I think that's a major mental block that I know I personally had. And I was reluctant to go to physical therapy because of that. I didn't want somebody to tell me that. So if I don't go, they don't tell me, I don't have to do it. Right. If I knew physical therapists that would encourage, maybe my rehab would have been better. I don't know.
Right. And that's what I said before. And Maddy, we touched on that today when you were treating me, that whole organic nature, the all encompassing. And Jordan, we had that discussion because I know you're looking to maximize resilient physiotherapy, which I know you possibly mentioned stretch therapists and different things like that. And I always joke that, you guys are like, therapists yourselves, because you're sitting there, you're talking, you're chatting people up, you're getting to know your clients. And it's funny because, although it's not, because I say I've gotten to know you as friends as well, which is phenomenal. I've never had that before, going through all the PT before. And it's that mental healing is a very big component of the physical healing, mind over matter, right? In our case, if we don't mind, it don't matter. But that's that, like that, very brutish idea. But, I always look forward to going to physical therapy, although I don't look forward when you dry needle me.
Oh, we got to talk about that. So you sticking needles in him, and how do I do it?
Oh, yes. No. Yes. And you know what?
Up and drop them all.
And it's funny because Maddy is known as the ice queen with the dry needling. She seems to be the dry needling psychopath.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when she does it, I'm okay with it. But when you do it, I get super anxious when you stick those things inside of me.
We still talking about needles, right?
I mean, sometimes, but it is effective. I know we posted that one video and it got a lot of views of when Maddy shoved that giant needle in my butt cheek and you decided to put techno music to it. Oh man, I think I might get money for that one. I'm starting to get ads on it. So
I just learned about what's it called? OnlyFans or something?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's someone that has a fetish for stuff like that.
I'm sure
you should try.
But again,
if this physical therapy thing doesn't work for you guys, OnlyFans.
Side hustle.
You're welcome.
But back to what I was originally saying, that mental healing. What can you guys, and I'd love to, if you can, in your own empirical experience, what are some of the things you see, quote unquote, and when we say warriors, we say it loosely. I mean, because you guys are warriors, you're fighting the battle and healing individuals that are struggling with physical injuries, mental injuries, etc. Everyone's a warrior in their own right? They have their own battles. What the definition of a battle in a war is on the individual. But what are some of the things you see mentally, not just physically, which you answered before, Jordan, with some of your clients? Because I mean, you have a broad spectrum, from sports to fighters to first responders. If you could share that, I just want the people to hear, because I know there's a lot of reluctant people that, especially when it comes to the mental health side, that want to open up about that.
No, before they answer, I think there's a stigma also in our world of
there is a
going
stigma.
And seeking help, whether being physical or mental, and especially when the two of them are combined, right? That I think that is part of the reason why a lot of us would be reluctant to begin with. So how do you guys address that?
I mean, I think the hardest part is like a lot of the patients coming in, like, athletics, being in the gym, whether, a CrossFitter or a runner or, whatever, that becomes their identity. And when that's taken away, I feel like a lot of times patients kind of go down like this almost dark path. They don't really know, like, okay, well, I was defined by being this great athlete, and now I'm not. So who am I? What am I going to do now? Like, what do I like? Where do I go from here? And so that's a pretty big mental challenge that I see a lot, is just trying to motivate, the patient and find ways to, get them, back in, their sport activity, whatever, and find a sense of joy again about, when being active. So,
I think that, and Maddy's always one to quote the biopsychosocial model of treatment. So I think looking at every person that you treat as an individual, they have their own individual unique goals that are different from every other person. To some people, you treat a grandparent, it might be their goal to pick up their grandchild and carry them around a little bit, up to, we have patients who have reached the podium at the CrossFit Games. Just a full spectrum of people, individuals, different goals, things like that. And just recognize everyone has their own individual unique struggles. So,
right. How do you guys break the news to someone when that just won't happen? So, maybe I want to reach a podium at a CrossFit game, which I do not, but let's say I did, and it's not going to happen. My injuries will prevent me from ever getting there. Do you guys have that? How do you deal with it? And what is their reaction usually? It doesn't have to be CrossFit games. Someone like Steve, for example, who's at his core a law enforcement officer, has been doing that for decades, right? And to tell him that, listen, you're never going to operate to the level that you did in the past. It's just not going to happen.
I'd probably say, oh yeah, retire my ass. I'm done.
But you say that now. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, if I was to tell you that, their response would have been different. So, I know for myself, when I had my injury, right? I say injury, it's a tumor. It's not something I could have controlled necessarily, right?
Sure.
But there's some things I couldn't do after that. My grip on my right hand, somebody told me I will never shoot again.
Okay.
Which is bullshit because I'm shooting. But I'm just saying my grip on my right hand is weak. So that's Aurora County helicopter right there.
We're watching a helicopter fly over.
And that's fucking up my podcast.
Well, no, like the military me is like, all right, are we being assaulted? Should we grab rifles kind of thing?
No.
Wolverines.
Right. So that aside, so my injury, right, the doctor essentially said, you're never going to do A, B, and C. That's devastating, right? And was able to prove them wrong, but, that was on me. How do you guys deal with it from the clinician standpoint? Because sometimes it's just not going to happen, right? The guy's amputated, God forbid, right? So how do you tell him that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably more or less to just really encourage the person to achieve the highest level that they can. Somebody wants to make the podium at the CrossFit Games. Somebody wants to do X, Y, or Z, whatever that goal is. I don't necessarily know that it's our place to tell them, look, sorry, you're not good enough. This is never going to happen for you. Like you said, that's devastating news to get. I think our job is really there to help people maximize their potential at whatever given endeavor they're pursuing. So, I may see somebody who, is morbidly obese and they come in and they're like, I want to win the CrossFit Games. Okay, let's work towards that. Let's take some goals and let's take steps to move you in that direction. So
I think too, and making those short-term goals clear, like for example, I have a patient right now, MMA fighter, and he had a pretty extensive injury, tore his patellar tendon completely, had it repaired, and then had to undergo like a manipulation because of just poor range of motion. And so it's a messy case. And so a lot of mental struggle there. But I think making really kind of stepwise goals is encouraging to the patient. So, and celebrating that, like, goal number 1, let's see that quad contract. Can you hold your leg up without getting any sort of extensor lag? Good. Now we can move on. Can you now squat to this box without kind of shifting your pelvis, to the side of that's not involved. And, if they get that, then we move on to the next thing. So I think just like really making like these short-term goals clear and obvious, so the patient has something to work for that's super achievable right then and there, and then you can kind of circle back and reevaluate, okay, like where are we now 6 weeks into the rehab? Where are we going this next 6 weeks? So I think just taking those small steps towards a goal is helpful and very encouraging and motivating to a patient. So
I love the positive reinforcement side, because
that I want to highlight that. And Jordan, you mentioned what was it, the psychosocial model?
Hit him with it. This is yours.
The biopsychosocial model. So again, like really treating the whole.
You got caught off, Maddy.
Say it again, Maddy. Say it again.
You got caught off.
The biopsychosocial model, and
okay,
that's really,
so
yep.
That. All right, I hold that thought because I think that's one of the defining differences with resilient physiotherapy for everyone who's listening, as opposed to this whole corporate thing that I can speak personally for, and which is why I have a bromance with Jordan and just love you guys so much.
I'm getting jealous, Jordan, and I'm going to come after you.
No, that's fine. We can have a threesome. we'll I talk Jordan.
Right.
But and I say that with all sincerity, because like we mentioned before, I am that warrior who can't do what he did before. I was a competitive shooter, I was a competitive fighter, long-term martial artist, etc. And although I can still teach, I can't practice it like I used to. But like you two do for me when I'm getting treated is like, okay, you may not be able to do the hardcore police stuff you did, but you can still kick someone in the face if you had to. You may not be able to, climb Mount Mitchell like you did in the past, but you'll be able to do XYZ. And it goes a long way, because in my mind, I'm like, crap, I can't be who I was before. Like Maddy, like you mentioned, that whole identity thing. And I really try hard not to find identity in the institutions that I serve. I try to bring identity to the institutions that I serve, but we're human beings. It's not going to happen. And I think you guys do a great job in recognizing that. And I want to believe it's real, because I know it is. I don't want to say it's fake. I know you guys are genuine as can be, and that's why you're on this podcast right now.
Because that's what I got out of Maddy's answer.
The
idea of, we'll find goals for you, and you're going to accomplish those goals, and we're going to celebrate those goals. And that positive feedback loop is really what motivates people, right?
And that goes into the, everyone has a battle. You don't have to be a soldier, an MMA fighter, a first responder. Everyone has a battle, and sometimes it's a physical battle. And you too are those Miyamoto Musashis, because that's what we love, those warrior philosophers who are instilling them the wisdom to overcome that. In this case, a physical aspect and sometimes a mental aspect, which I think is awesome. And why anyone who's listening, go to Resilient Physiotherapy, as if they don't have enough work on as is.
No, I'm going to go. I mean, God knows I'm all kinds of effed up, and I'm Steven's talk nothing but positive things. So I want to comment for you guys to just evaluate. I have no new injuries, but there's a shitload of baggage, physical baggage that needs to be addressed.
And again, that goes to my whole idea of people see, I think I never pronounce it right, palliative care.
It's a big word. Can you spell it?
No.
All right.
I got a PhD, that. I got a public high school diploma. So
I was a doctor like Maddy.
I'm almost, not to change the subject, but
we change it.
People with no formal education whatsoever built roads in ancient Rome that still exist to this day. And now we have people with master's degrees, PhDs, and we got to fix potholes every other week. Mm-hmm. Just saying. But anyway, what the hell was I talking about?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anyway,
so Jordan, let Jordan and Maddy. I don't know why I picked on Jordan, but let me ask you this: Can
Oh, you got to pick on Jordan.
We have the black shirts on.
There you go. It's like we're one, like one mind. What would be one of the coolest cases that you guys worked on? So a really good rehab.
Wait, that doesn't violate HIPAA, does it?
They don't have to say names or anything. They can certainly talk about
I
that
guess
case.
So.
Right?
We'll call them Joe.
We call him Steven Almendares, but go ahead.
Well, for me, you know, I love treating orthopedic cases. Like I love the musculoskeletal system, and like I love treating just peripheral joints. But recently, I actually just evaluated a patient with MS. And wow. I have a patient that I evaled prior to that. So I have 2 active MS cases right now, and they're pretty interesting because, you know, that's a case where the dry needling actually works really, really well. I have one lady right now who, you know, has a lot of spasticity. She has difficulty walking. Her balance is poor. And she's young. I mean, she's mid-30s, and she, you know, just her mobility and her, you know, just her gait is very ataxic. And so she came in, and I did my evaluation and noticed some obvious weakness, went in and actually needled some of those weak muscles, the right glute specifically, and got her off the table, and her balance was amazing. So before, she could not stand on her right leg at all, could not stand. She needed like close supervision. I had her next to the table. She was very shaky. Went in, did a little bit of needling, did a needling with the electrical stim, like got some signaling to that right glute, and then she was able to stand on that right leg without any issue. So, I mean, that was pretty powerful within one session. For the patient to see that is super encouraging, you know, especially having like this, you know, sort of unfortunately progressive disease process, but to see like such an accomplishment in one session, she could stand there steady, was huge. So, I mean, that was pretty cool for me.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Especially though it's a degenerative disease, right? So those small victories go a long, long way, right?
Oh, 100%. Yep.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jordan, anything?
Oh man. Nothing's coming to mind that's really standing out to me. I mean, I have a patient who comes in, police officer. He's got really, really sexy legs. And I work.
Sorry.
Never wears matching socks.
It's the mismatched socks. It's the highlight of my week. I can tell you that.
Oh, wait. Oh, I can't get him up. There we go.
There it is.
There it is. But he's not wearing silkies.
I'm not wearing silkies. I am wearing camouflage underwear, though.
So, you know, pivoting from the medical side of it, what's in store for Maddy and Jordan? Where do you guys see your practice going?
Yeah, so we currently have 2 offices. So one is housed within Exile Fitness, which is in Rosedale area, Baltimore, Maryland. Great, absolutely phenomenal facility. Exile itself is arguably the greatest gym in the country. It's 70,000 square feet, every piece of machinery and equipment in redundancy that you can possibly imagine.
And a historic piece of equipment that you showed me recently.
Yeah. So we just, not we, I shouldn't say, but Bob, the owner.
And we know Brick. We know Brick. We have a rapport with Brick. So
yeah. So Bob, who's the gym owner, he actually was able to acquire the calf machine from the movie Pumping Iron that Arnold, Lou Ferrigno, all these guys use, hand built by Joe Gold. And, you know, like it is probably the most iconic piece of fitness equipment in the world, the most recognizable. And he was actually able to acquire that. So that's currently at the gym. I mean,
especially considering Arnold had the smallest calves and probably one of his biggest issues, right? If you look at early pictures of his career, it's always in water and from the knee up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's been a goal of his to attain that piece of equipment for a while, and he got it, and I'm really happy for him. I mean, we also partner with Exile Performance Nutrition. You know, you mentioned Brick. So he's running our nutrition shop in there, supplements, protein, pre-workout, everything like that. We have Dr. Nager right upstairs from us from Functional Health, Opti Health Medicine.
Who stabs him in the ass regularly.
Regularly, all of us, really. I mean, he's
I think he gets a kick out of it, honestly. But I will say for our listeners, if you go to he was our first guest, so it was episode 2
yes.
On our podcast. You can hear an interview with Dr. Nager. Phenomenal guy. I personally love it.
It's basically a one-stop shop when you talk about
it. Really is. It really is. We have massage. I mean, everything else in there.
And that is one of 2 locations, you said?
Yeah. Our second location then is up in Forest Hill, Maryland, just above Bel Air. So we're inside of the soccer factory, which Chuck Travis runs that. He is an absolutely astounding, phenomenal coach. That it's just growing and growing up there. And I'm seeing development in 5 and 6 year old kids that is, I have never seen in that age group before. And I mean, I think there's going to be some really, really big time soccer players coming out of the soccer factory in the coming.
That's so cool.
Let me ask you this, just from an entrepreneurial standpoint, right? Being a business owner myself and so forth. At what point do you think, being that, Maddy and Jordan are the brand, right? And you guys, according to Steven at least, are the key people.
Sure.
How big can you grow and not lose that personal connection?
Yeah, that's tough. We talk about that sometimes, just as far as, you like to have somewhat of a plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a 1-year plan. Yep. And I think my goal is to grow as it's adequate. I don't have ambitions of becoming a corporate owned 100 practice, office or location or company. I think that it's really the most important thing is just sticking to our core values, sticking to what we do, sticking to our education and our big, skill set, I think is really well encompassed, in the field of PT. Maddy and I have numerous different certifications. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is it's almost scaled to who we bring on board. Who do we, how does that allow us to grow without straying from the core values of our company?
Right.
And I think that's, for me personally, having worked in corporate PT, again, seeing 50 patients a day sometimes, I promised myself when I left there, I would never go back to being just a rat on a wheel, just churning patients out. I can't ever do that again. And I think the biggest thing is just staying true to where we are, what we're all about, getting like-minded people on board who are genuinely in this to help people, help patients, love what they do, enjoy it. And so long as we're finding those people and growing, and I mean, we've done little to no marketing for our company thus far. And I mean, we're slammed at 2 different locations. So pretty much everything so far has been word of mouth, people talking to their friends saying, like you guys are doing, hey, we got to go see these guys. They're
I've already told my workers' comp attorney about you guys, and he's adding you guys to the Rolodex to push all his clients too.
I'll be honest, Steve has said nothing but great thing for the past, I don't know how long.
And again,
it's becoming annoying, honestly.
It's not just because you guys are genuine people, but it's the actual medical practice itself. I've had torn injuries, I severed my radial nerve, broken wrists, broken hips. You name it, I've done it in my career. Like I told you, Maddy, I don't regret any of it. I've had a blast destroying my body. But in the recovery, I've never had anything that I've experienced at Resilient. And Jordan, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about you're trying to keep it genuine. I mean, everything from your receptionist, to the masseuse, everyone at that office, they fill this mold and create this environment of welcomeness. When I walk into Resilient, I don't feel like a patient. I don't at all. I feel like I'm coming to see a friend. I'm coming to hang out with a friend, until he jams needles in my ass. But still, friends do that sometimes, and I think that's one of the biggest things for our listeners to hear. Like you said, you got to take charge of your care, especially when you're still in the fight and you're trying to stay in the fight. And although your war might be redefined by your physical ailments, one thing that Resilient Physiotherapy showed me is that there's other ways to fight the war. You know, that I may not be able to hit, you know, point A anymore, but guess what? There's still point B, C, D, E, F, G, and we'll get you to those if you need B.
I did get to point B.
I don't know. I can't go past C or D or whatever. You know, whatever.
So I know
the Hebrew alphabet. You guys don't have vowels.
I know Steve has some trivia question like he does for all, I guess. But before we get to that, if people want to, well, I actually have two questions. First of all, this is for warriors, right? And a question I like to ask all of our guests is, what do you guys do to foster your warrior mindset? What's your training like?
Don't hold back, Jordan.
All right. Anything from fitness? All right, go ahead.
My training, with my gym training, I will be honest. So when we started Resilient the first year, I was lucky if I got a workout in a week, 2 weeks. I mean, we were grinding. So my goal for 2022 was like, all right, Matt, you got to get your shit together. Let's figure some stuff out. So I actually recently just joined F45, functional kind of fitness class. It's kind of nice because, you know, I tell people what to do all day. I program for people. So it's nice to show up and have someone else tell me what to do. Right. So, you know, it's a quick 45-minute HIIT workout. And for me right now, that works. You know, I'd love to dedicate a little bit more time in the gym, but as we're growing and as we're running, you know, 2 clinics, you know, it's hard to kind of make that time. So right now, the 45 minutes and going to a gym that's not my workplace is huge for me. You know, I tell people, they're like, oh, you know, you work at a gym, that's awesome. You have, you know, full access. And I'm like, yeah, it's great. I love it. But when the workday is over, I kind of want to leave the workplace. And right. So, you know, that's what has been really good for me. I can show up and be a client, and have someone kind of tell me what to do and kick my ass. And
so what I take out of it is that Maddy likes to be bossed around.
Kinda.
All right, got it.
So Jordan, and I know you're probably going to say the fitness thing. I know you've shared some of the life changes that you are trying to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But also share your, you know, I won't say passion, but you do have a hobby in firearms and things like that. We've talked a lot about firearms because people always associate, you know, firearms with police, military, etc. But the 2A community, you know, we're a big fan of the 2A community. We love and respect the 2A community. And with Masada Tactical, that's one of our main things. We teach, we train the 2A community, which before we continue real quick, you guys treat me, and we've talked about that. But my challenge to you two, we're going to have you on this podcast again, but not before you take a Masada Tactical course.
I like it. All
right. So you're going to take one of our courses.
You take beginners.
Yes. We're going to treat you with our physical therapy, and then we're going to bring that up again. But go ahead, hit it, Jordan.
I love it. Yeah. So absolutely. Big supporter of the 2A community as well. You know, I definitely don't get to the range as often as I would like, but, you know, I run through some laser drills here at the house and things. You know, ammo's not cheap in today's world. So definitely doing that. I got to get my hands on one of the Mantis training systems that you guys keep talking about. Yes. So definitely do that. You know, for me personally, I've been an athlete pretty much my entire life. I will say after starting this company and things, that my own personal health, fitness, things like that did fall to the wayside for a little while. Just putting, you know, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day, every day into this company to grow it into what it needs to become. You know, now that we're to a point where we're building and we're growing, I can start to put a little bit more time back into me. And I think my biggest thing has been a focus more on mobility. I'm pretty stiff. We're bent over patients all day. I'm not a Gumby human. So, you know, for me to really focus on just moving well, I think is the big thing. I'm a big supporter and a big proponent of more like calisthenic type workouts, you know, body weight stuff that you can do absolutely anywhere. I'm a firm believer that you should move yourself well before you add load to yourself. So, you know, again, we work in a very bodybuilding and powerlifting heavy gym. Phenomenally strong human beings just doing feats of strength that you will not see anywhere else. But at the same time, a lot of those guys will come to us, with, hey, I can't even reach my wallet, here in my back pocket.
I can't scratch my butt cheek.
That's a problem.
And I'm a big proponent of function and functionality. That's really what we build our careers around, is helping people function in their different capacities. And, emphasizing that and teaching people, myself, everyone to really move well and then move often, just get out there, do things, be active, promote that healthier lifestyle. So.
Perfect. Love it. So my next question is, if people want to get in touch with you,
Sure,
myself included, where can they find you?
Yeah. So we'll have an OnlyFans up right at the end of this for sure. But
he takes notes. He's smart. I like it. That's why he's a doctor. So
you can go to our website, resilientphysiotherapy.com. Our names are basically our email addresses. So Maddy Keys and Jordan Shettle at Resilient Physiotherapy.
Soon to be Maddy Shettle.
Maddy
Just
Shettle soon. Yes.
I got to throw that out there. I have to.
I like it. I did all right for myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And and our phone number to call into the office is 443-505-3984.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So for our audience, I want to get in touch. I know I certainly will.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I'll throw it out there for the audience too. If for some reason, they're absent-minded like I am, feel free to reach out to myself too, because I will push you guys so there's no end. Because I've never had such progress physically and mentally, which was just an ancillary benefit of coming to Resilient and gaining 2 new friends from physical therapy.
I will say this, knowing you for
a long time,
16 years, I don't know, whatever long it is.
My pre-pubescent era, because I didn't hit puberty until a late age.
Yeah, right. But
wow,
I've known Steve to go through several mental health professionals, and he has not seen as much mental health progress until it came to you guys.
I tell you what, me and Maddy had a breakthrough today. Sorry, Jordan, had to be with Maddy, but I'm sure she'll tell you the story. It's actually in the martial art book we were featured in. But when I kind of snapped from being bullied and all that stuff, the whole band class thing.
The
trumpet. Yeah, he knows the story. I kicked some ass with that trumpet, and not playing it either. I literally.
So we like finishing every one of these interviews with
some trivia.
And Steve,
and Jordan, I apologize in advance. I was told to focus on you and only you. All right, so I am going to, and I'm going to hit you with more than the usual. All right, because I know you're a gun nut and I know you're a movie nut.
All right,
I can't.
Right, poking. I injected silicone to consistently make my nipples hard. Anyway, and no, I have not seen the movie Hot Rod yet, and I will.
Oh, you got to watch it.
What's Hot Rod?
A movie I was prescribed to watch by my Dr. Ramrod there.
Yes.
Dr. Ramrod.
Hot Rod it's
Dr. Ramrod prescribed Hot Rod.
Got it.
Andy Samberg. It's worth a watch.
Just whatever you do, don't watch Salad Hands.
Salad fingers.
All right. Oh, and yes, by the Range Rover. All right, your first question.
Perfect. I might go this weekend. I might go check it out.
All right. This is a gun question for you.
All right.
Dr. Ramrod. Where did guns first appear? What country?
I'm gonna go with China.
God damn it! I thought I was gonna stump him with that, Maddy. I'm sorry.
Well, no, because they
did. I know.
They invented gunpowder.
I failed you, Maddy.
Jordan. I'm rooting for you, Jordan. I don't care what he says.
I failed you, Maddy. I'm not done yet.
Okay.
I was given instructions to
I have faith in you. You got to stump him. Come on.
All right.
You still want to marry her? It's not too late.
Hold on. What color shirt did I wear into the office today?
Ooh. Oh, blue. It was like a light blue. I was so busy looking at your eyes, I barely noticed your shirt.
I was close. All right. I got him now, Maddy. I got him.
Okay.
All right. Name the last ingredient of gunpowder. potassium nitrate, sulfur, and
Oh man.
I'm gonna say it again. So potassium nitrate, also known as saltpeter, sulfur, and
Brass.
Grass.
No, brass.
Grass
You
or
need
ass?
Brass?
Brass.
No, brass is not a part of
No.
You need
gunpowder.
We got him, Maddy. We got him.
You need brass.
It's charcoal.
Charcoal.
Woo!
Good
We
job.
got him, Maddy. We
I
got him.
knew you do it. Way to pull through.
Somebody else pay for you.
Finally, somebody
else.
All right. I'm not done with you yet.
Let's go.
During what war did the assault rifle become standard issued?
Ooh.
And to your defense, Jordan, I asked him to clarify because he asked me the question in advance. What is an assault rifle?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I guess it somewhat does depend on, the modern definition of an assault rifle, or what are we talking?
Yeah. Are we talking just a repeating rifle?
No. Magazine fed.
Magazine fed.
Yeah.
Semi-automatic.
Semi-automatic with fully automatic capabilities.
You should be able to answer that one.
With fully automatic capabilities. Let's go with
What war?
a little torn. Vietnam.
Oh, you got it.
Now, what rifle?
What's that?
What
What
rifle
rifle?
was it?
Oh gosh, the M1.
You were close. M16.
1.6.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Now let me tell you this, because this is a little piece of trivia that I learned. Why is the M16 shaped the way it is?
Ooh.
It was specifically because of Vietnam. It was designed to be used as an oar if they had to canoe
Oh,
those deltas and whatnot.
that's very interesting. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yes!
That's pretty good. All right. Switching to movies.
Now we're in my realm. Here we go.
Action movies. All right.
All right.
What program was trying to take over the world in the Terminator?
Oh, crap.
It wasn't crap. No.
No. I know. I know this is so bad. I know the answer is World.
Yeah, you
Net.
know the answer. Everybody knows the answer.
I know.
You.
World Net. It's something.
Oh, that's close.
It was close. It was close.
No. It was
I
close
know.
enough.
It's not coming to me.
It's Skynet.
It's
Skynet.
Skynet. World Net. Skynet.
But you obviously knew that.
No, he didn't know that.
I know. Jordan, I'm trying, buddy. I'm trying.
I know. That was bad. I'm more of a comedy guy. Maddie led you.
I know, but I was avoiding the comedies because
I know everything there is to know about Dumb and Dumber.
How about Adam Sandler? How big of an Adam Sandler fan are you?
I love Adam.
Jeez,
I
yeah.
love Adam.
I like
we
that.
can be friends now. We can be friends now.
That movie, The Zohan, was based on his life. Just
Oh,
so you
yeah.
know.
I want to
Yeah.
see that flexibility when you come in.
Well, you're gonna get the food uppercut.
Yes. and what was the bush for?
It's the biggest.
The biggest bush? What was it for?
The biggest bush? I don't know.
Bush, it's the biggest.
It's from the Zohan.
I have never seen it.
Oh,
I've never
never
seen
mind
the
that.
whole thing.
We'll have to watch. I prescribe that to you.
Sorry, Jordan, I'm not
All right.
rooting for you anymore.
Tell-
Yeah, I was boycotting it because he hasn't watched Hot Rod.
Three more questions and you're off the hook.
All right.
Like 17 questions.
I know. I got to hit him hard. I was ordered by Maddy. And
Yeah,
I'm
he
afraid
was
of her.
I feel like you she's
'Cause,
like she made this hard by going after movies I don't watch.
Did you
This
sign a
was-
prenup?
His home program was to come up with questions to stump Jordan. And so far, Steve, you're doing great. Keep going.
Jordan, did you make her sign a prenup?
Not yet. Not
Right.
yet. It's coming.
For the record, Maddy is the only one who has physically made me cry during a physical therapy session from pain. I'm just
Challenge
putting that out there.
accepted. Challenge
I
accepted.
made you cry from laughter.
All right. In the movie 300, the Battle of Thermopylae, all right, the fictionalized Battle of Thermopylae.
Yeah.
Finish this quote. Have you seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tonight we dine in
L.
All right. All right. You got it. All right. Movie The Predator. The Predator, the alien, sees in only what?
Infrared.
I guess that.
No, not really. Not really.
Infrared?
No.
No, not without the helmet.
What does he see? What does he seek?
What does he actually?
He seeks.
Okay, yeah, you got it. You got it. You're such a dude.
Yeah.
All right. Maddie's like, motherfucker. Last question. Dirty Harry. What city did he live and serve in? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dirty. I have no idea. I should know this. I've seen the movie like 20 times. My
all of them.
father will be so disappointed.
Dirty Harry, The Enforcer, all the Dirty Harry movies. Come on now.
Give the answer.
San Francisco.
Oh, the
You
49ers.
should know that.
I see abuse. I see abuse. Special abuse.
Francisco. You should have known that.
Damn it. I should have known that.
Guys,
Do we get to ask trivia now?
sure, go for it.
Yeah, why not? This is new.
Yeah.
You're challenging
There
us.
you go.
Bring it.
So I have
7
two
inches.
questions.
No. What?
that
Oh.
I don't have answers to. I want your help.
Oh God. I apologize in advance, guys.
No, you don't have to. Oh, wait. Before you do, Maddy, you have made history. You are the first woman on the Silver Savage podcast.
Yeah, you are. That is true.
Yes, it
That's
is.
awesome.
So,
I'm happy to be
Behind-
here. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
as the statement goes, you know, and I don't say this in a chauvinistic way, but traditionally, you know, they say the man is the head of the household, right? But the woman is the neck that holds the head up.
Did you ever watch my Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes.
You have a lovely neck. You do. It's really, it's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Ask a question. You get 2.
Question time. All right. So I'm gonna start with the well, they're both I don't know the answer, so I want your answer. Why do hot dogs come in packs of 10 and buns come in packs of 8? These are more philosophical questions. I was a philosophy major, so
is there a God?
I mean, there's a lot of arguments for and against. I can give you one yes and give you one no.
I can give you answers about the 10 hot dogs and the 8 buns.
Let's do it. Why?
Shit.
Why?
I'm done. Like I'm lost.
So the answer that I heard, it comes down to money. It's a reality that you would have to buy 2 packs of buns, and at that point you would have to buy more hot dogs, and it just cycles that feeds itself.
So it's a capitalist subjugating economic like thing.
Yes.
I like it.
Huh? Eggs?
Yeah.
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 So the other one,
I know.
what? Where on the food pyramid does an
God,
egg
not this one.
belong?
No.
Yeah.
And egg
where
what?
does it belong? Where does an egg belong?
Isn't there proteins?
No.
But it's not a meat and it's not dairy. And there's a meat and a dairy realm on the
Yeah, well,
food.
it's certainly not dairy, but I would say it belongs with the meat because it will become a chicken, and
That's
it is
my
a protein.
argument. Okay.
But it's
Yes.
unfertilized. It's unfertilized.
I'll tell you another one, being Jewish, right? So
Right.
you know the whole thing about kosher dietary laws, you can mix dairy and meat, right?
Right.
Chicken, in theory, shouldn't be either, because the whole premise is you should not eat a calf or cook a calf in its mother's milk, right?
Right.
But chicken does not have breast milk. They do not breastfeed.
This is true.
So in theory, chicken should not be considered meat,
Right.
according to Jewish dietary laws.
I'm sorry.
Right. So it's
That's a
not.
game
It is not
changer.
meat. Now I have a reason it can't be meat. This is
That
great.
is a
That's
game
great.
changer.
So
My life is ruined.
And on that note, Maddy and Jordan, I want to thank you guys for being with us tonight. Listen,
Thank
you've been everything that Steven told me about. It's awesome. I'm glad I got a chance to meet you guys.
We're
absolutely,
gonna have you on again, but you got to take one of our courses,
we will
Yes.
be there. We will
Awesome.
be there.
and I
Do
will
I-
see
do
you.
I get to
I will
bring my
see you
own
next
guns?
week. I guess I'll see you on Tuesday, Jordan, and Maddy on Thursday.
Yeah.
I like it. I
so.
hope so.
I will be there. This was awesome. I really hope our listeners follow up with you guys because it's been a game changer for me. So I know BK will probably follow up with you guys here soon.
Yep.
So thank you so much for your time. Absolutely. And we're definitely going to have you on again.
I love it. I love it.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you, guys.
All right.
We hope you enjoyed this latest episode of the Silver Savage podcast. Please go ahead and give our podcast a like, share the link with a friend, and help us spread the word. You can follow us on social media as well. Instagram handle is silver_savage45. You can also find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and our YouTube channel where you can watch all these episodes' videos as well. More unique content, merchandising, and events are coming soon too, so make sure to follow.